everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story. Ignore my wet hair. I literally, because I've been, when I wash my hair, a lot of times I very rarely blow dry my hair. Nobody cares about my hair, but you know what, I'm just saying. Normally with my hair, I would take a shower and then I twist it all up into the, into a clip. Can I just say, clips with the rubber inside are very hard to find, and they're amazing because otherwise my hair slips out. But these would have the rubber grips in them, are just amazing. So anyways, I'll just twist them up. Well, I've done that a couple times in a row and kept my hair pretty much always twisted up, and I had the most giantest knot, and I know that's not a word, but I had the most giant knot in the back of my head that I had about rip out. So today it's getting air dried straight instead of twisted up. And yes, I have the same shirt on as yesterday. I was in pajamas all day yesterday, and all I did was throw this shirt on to take a 10-minute video. So when I had to actually go out today, I put it on because of course it wasn't dirty. So there we go. This is what happens when you see me every day. I'm really excited because look what I got in the mail. And no, this is not what some people are thinking it may be, because I'm pretty sure you can't buy that mail. This is blackberry leaf tea, which I've been waiting for to add. So I stopped at the store. This came in way more than I thought. This is 1 ounce. I've never done ounces, and these, the different ones that I had gotten, I just got a little bit of each because I really wasn't sure what an ounce would look like. And this is an ounce. That is a lot of loose tea. So yeah, I was not expecting that much. But that was for, I did a video, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below, where, because Lindenhart inspired me to blend my own tea, which I have never done before, and to kind of charge it with a crystal, charge it with some intention through using some cards. And so that's what I have here, which I didn't make a lot of it up because I'm pretty picky about, I won't drink things that taste bad. I mean, let's just be honest. I just don't. So I wasn't sure what it was going to taste like. This had 2 parts of black tea, 1 part peppermint, and 1 part echinacea, because I was looking for things that would be good for my sinuses, because I'm always getting sinus infections. And it tasted delicious, but I really wanted blackberry leaf tea in it too, because blackberry leaf is also supposed to be very good for your sinuses. But I couldn't find it in, we have 2 health food stores nearby me. One is fairly large, and the other smaller, but they did not have blackberry leaf. So I ordered this on Amazon actually, and it wasn't, I want to say with shipping it was maybe $5. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't too bad, and you get obviously a lot of it. So I'm really excited. I think I just heard the thing go off. I was brewing. So I put in 1 part. So I was 2 parts black tea, 1 part peppermint, 1 part echinacea, and then I put 1 part of the blackberry leaf, which what I understand is supposed to taste just like a black tea, even though it's not a black leaf. It smells amazing. It really does smell good. It does taste, it smells like black tea. So, but really good black tea. So I'm going to brew this up and see how it tastes with that added in. And then I'll probably make up more. I just wanted to make sure it was, I kind of had it with the parts that I wanted. But look what I picked up. Because I picked up this little metal ball that you like twist off, put it in and then twist it, the cap on, and it has like a little dangly string. One time I used it, I could not get it untwisted. I had a guy try to get it untwisted, and he couldn't get it untwisted, even with a freaking screwdriver. So I picked this up today at Kroger's, it was on sale. And this is Copco, C-O-P-C-O, and it's got this little twisty swizzler thing and a nice little, I like the little plate anyways, because that's just nice for taking your tea bag out. In general, I'll just leave that on my desk. So I'm going to, in a minute, try this out and see how my new tea tastes. But it tasted really good before I put the blackberry leaf in. And given what the blackberry leaf smells like, I'm pretty sure it's going to taste good. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how I'm going to get into this thing. It's like, looks like it's going to be very much a pain in the butt. But one thing I liked about this, see, I just don't use a lot of loose leaf teas, so this is new for me. I used to always have a screen because I have used loose leaf teas that were already mixed up. I just have never mixed my own. It's kind of like a silicone-y thing to put it on. And then this has where you can close it so that when you set it on your plate, it's not like pouring things out. It kind of contains it. It's got like a twisty thing, if you can see. See how it's you can see the holes? And then when you twist it, you can kind of close it off. But you can just kind of swizzle it around in there and then set it on here when you are done with it. And so we'll see how that works. They didn't really have, they had some variety of things, not as much as I thought, because I probably have to go to a tea store. But we're going to give this one a try, and I'll let you know. I'll probably pause it in a little bit and see how it works. I don't, the question for yesterday kind of blended into today's question, which is how long have you been reading tarot for? Which I had said in yesterday's video that my first reading was about 13 or so years ago. So that's how long I've been reading. I have been, and I put in a lot of studying and stuff. It was very much self-study. Very much based on the guidebook and this little Collins Gem tarot book. Again, when I first started reading tarot, having lots of tarot decks, having implements and books and things like that just wasn't really possible given my marriage that I was in at the time. I was more religious. My husband was more religious, and so having these kinds of things around wasn't going to be something I could have lots of. So I really did have just this little book, just kind of with basic stuff, and then the guidebook that came with the Llewellyn Tarot. But I did a lot of work with it, and I did a lot of just letting it, intuitively just reading with it as well. So I did study, and then I did get online and things like that. As the years progressed, you could get more and more information online. Intense studying, like really, so I read quite a while. And then about 4 years ago or so, I would say, I started to really intensely study. Again, I had been doing readings. I felt pretty comfortable with my base knowledge of it. I read pretty intuitively, but then I put some more intense study in about 4 years ago, and I've been doing that ever since. And then I obviously started reading professionally this past year. It's not been quite a year. 1 second. I'm going to get my tea while I answer my boss. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. That was my boss, and I pretty much have to answer my boss's calls. Anyways, I wanted to show you this. So this is that Twizzler thing. It smells amazing. The only thing that I can see is that this blackberry leaf tea is much more finely done than my other ones were bulkier. And so you can, I don't know if you can see, but there are little tea floaties, which I don't know how I feel about that. I'm guessing probably a mesh ball. I've seen the mesh balls before, which might, keep those intact a little bit more. So I'll have to keep my eye out for a mesh ball. Once this cools down, I'm going to try it anyways. I don't think it's going to hurt me. So, and we'll see how it tastes, but it's too hot for me to test that. It smells amazing though, so I'm pretty sure it's going to taste good. So anyways, this is going to be a very disjointed video. So we were talking about how long I've been reading tarot, and I think I fairly well answered that. The other part of that question was, do you feel like you ever stop? I don't. Like I've said a couple times about when I decided, after my son had passed, I've always worked from home or not worked because obviously I needed a lot of focused care on my son. He was sick from birth all the way till when he passed at 23, and so he always needed care. So I was working part-time from home, just enough to cover my bills once I was out on my own after my divorce, and so it was just enough to be able to cover bills and be able to stay home obviously with Michael. And so after he had passed, after the first year was past of or was kind of coming to a wrap up, I really had to start to think about, like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Because that really wasn't so much a question, because I had so much attention focused in on that was my primary focus, was taking care of him. And so I was in a position of really wondering, what was I going to do with the rest of my life? I mean, all of a sudden, in a sad way on one hand, but then on the other hand, it was almost like being a 20-something again and having to think about, I was divorced. I was on my own for the first time in my life, because my daughter was out on her own. And so it really was almost like being in my daughter was in her early 20s. And so what things that she was going through in her first apartment and her first this and her first that, and what is she going to do? What does she want to do? All that kind of stuff. I was experiencing the same thing, and we would kind of joke about it, that at 40, whatever I was at the time, I was kind of going through some of the same things that she was going through. But so, that's when I really started to think, okay, well, what do I don't want to go punch a time clock or do a 9-to-5 job. It's just not in my build, how I function. I like the job that I do now. It just is, it's just enough to cover the bills. It's not really something that's going to advance or anything like that. So I needed to do something else as well. But what did I want to do with the rest of my life? And I really, kind of had an epiphany moment of I had done a grief counseling session with Kellyanne Maddox on Skype that was amazing. And through a series of things, and I had worked with a Shadowscape Tarot really intensively for the entire year after Michael had passed. I just had really, everything had ramped up to the degree and where other people around me were saying, why aren't you just doing this professionally? And I thought, why aren't I? I mean, this is being able to, that experience with I totally credit Kellyanne for motivating me to kind of start my own business and to answer that question for myself. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because when I started being able to hold space for other people, as people had done for me, which is what I see tarot readings as, is holding space for people. I don't tell people, I try not to tell people what to do, but I do try to hold space for people so that we can together kind of work through whatever the situation might be, so that they have the clarity to make decisions. So I'm not, my role is not to make somebody's decision, but to give them as much information as they can have, and more importantly, the space to feel safe and heard so that they can make those decisions. And so once I started experiencing that, I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, this really is that sort of, what do you want to do when you grow up? And this is it. What I'm doing right now, what I've been doing in the last year, is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So do I see myself stopping? No, I really don't. It's too integral. Like I talked about yesterday with my first reading, there was that sense of, when the very first reading that I did, I had that clicking sense of everything just kind of settling in and saying, oh, this is something I should be doing. Like, there's just that sense of coming home, that this is an extension of myself that needs to be explored. So no, I don't see myself ever stopping. So that's the answer to those questions, which I kind of already answered yesterday, so I feel like I'm cheating, but I don't want to go on to the next question, or I'm going to get all off whack. Okay, it's a little bit later. As I said, this is a little bit of a mishmash video. I started to do an unboxing for a giant box full of decks that somebody sent me when they purged their deck collection. But it was going to be way too long combined, so I'm going to set that separately, and I'm going to, I'm going to put that up separately because it was just going to be too long. So I'm back now. The lighting is already changing, but I am back to, because we at least have to do our drawing. So I was going to do that at the end of the unboxing, but then that all became too long. So I'm telling you, it's just one of those days. It's kind of hectic. Some things going on. Humongous unboxing, which you'll see next. But I'm going to go ahead and use one of the decks that she sent me. because a couple of them I've actually put into order already, because I just like to put things into order. So I kind of was limited by that, but I'm going to use Lucy Cavendish's Oracle of the Mermaids, because I haven't put that one into order yet, and so I can go ahead and shuffle it because I like a good shuffle before I use an Oracle deck, or obviously any tarot deck. So this one I have not put into order, and so I'm going to give it a go. These were just, I had, you know, when I opened the box, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't even know it was coming, actually, until yesterday. She's like, you might have something in your post office box tomorrow. Yeah, because she did a deck purging and sent me a whole bunch of decks. So we will see what we get from this one. This is actually a deck that I have been interested in. I didn't know if it would be a little bit too romancy novel, although I have heard that it reads quite lovely. So I've always, this has been on my, you know, side radar. I'm sorry, my nose has been itchy all day. This tea, by the way, this is my second cup, is quite lovely. Once the stuff settles to the bottom, I'm really happy with that mix. I can definitely drink that, and will be drinking that to hopefully help with my sinuses. Okay, so they were already kind of mixed, but so let's see what our Oracle card of the day is going to be with that's the backing. The Oracle of the Mermaids. The artwork is by, it does say it's about love, healing, love, and romance. Selena Fenich is the artist. And here is this beautiful card. Looks very Mother Earth, but in a water sense. Sorry, I haven't seen these, so I will take a look at it. This is Lumeria Returns, Earthy Spirituality, Community, and Ocean Conservation. So a very Earth Mother feel to this card. She's pregnant, so there is that sense of kind of her tail. I love how, oops, sorry. I love how her tail is coming up and over her in a very protective pose to herself and to what she has growing inside of her. I do get that sense that we need to nurture what we have inside of us, that we need to nurture and care for the child within. Obviously, this can also be those around us, but I'm really getting that sense of needing to take the time and the space to nurture and protect ourselves. I talk a lot on this channel about holding space, and I think that we have to hold space for ourselves before we can hold space for other people, if that makes sense. We need to be in a position ourselves of kind of security and feeling grounded within ourselves, so that we have excess energy and excess of space. I don't know if that doesn't really make sense, but we need to ourselves be grounded and in a good place before we can then reach out with what we have excess. Like, I know I go back to the Strength card a lot, because the Strength card for me embodies this so much. Because the Strength card, especially if you look at the Steampunk Tarot's Strength card, and there's another one that really reflects this well, but there is that very much that idea of in healing ourselves, it generates energy so that we can gain strength and then push that healing out into the world. And so there is that sense of first needing to nurture ourselves, so that then we start to generate more energy that we can then put outward to nurturing and healing and protecting others. So I just feel like the message today for all of us is to make sure that you take the time to nurture yourself. Make sure that and this is about earthy spirituality, getting grounded. And it is the sense of community. It is that sense of protecting what's important to us. Those people around us, this beautiful community that we're kind of, I'm just kind of becoming a part of on YouTube, where everybody is being so gracious and being so helping each other out, and that sort of reciprocal energy exchange that I also talk a lot about. Like, those are important things to protect, because they are what help us get through the bad times. They're what lets us rejoice together in the good times. And so there is that sense of moving out into the community, but first we have to do it for ourselves. So, don't try to reach out and give of yourself and nurture others and protect others if you're not doing the same thing for yourself, because you're going to get depleted really fast. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. But that's actually a very beautiful card. Hopefully you can see that well. That's gorgeous. So there we have it. Lumeria Returns. Let's just see, since this is a new deck, I literally haven't done anything with this. So I know nothing about it. The mermaids sing. Do you know of this place, a place where the mother of all was loved and reversed, where you were at one with the land, sea, and sky? This place was and is Lumeria, and you're connected with her energy now. Then it goes on. It gives you quite a lot of information, I will say. We have these 2 pages, and then a little bit more onto the next page. So there's a reversal, a big description of the card, and then a reversal, and then the divination message. So yeah, they definitely, Lucy Cavendish definitely gives you a lot of information here. I, of course, will be doing a walkthrough of this deck and of many other decks. I'm probably on that mail unboxing. I'll tell you, you know, if any of these decks that you're seeing, you know, oh, I want to see a walkthrough of that, make sure you put it in the comments, because yeah, so I can know. But that's an absolutely beautiful card for us today. So I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will be seeing you, of course, tomorrow.